People don't come to the classes to masses. Is it like that, Jamaica? You see people to classes?
No.
Yeah, they don't come out.
The classes are not barely beneficial. It's like how many classes are you gonna have about this?
About what?
Like they'll be like, they'll have a class and you go to class and they'll be like, Salah is obligatory. Like, okay, let's get a little deeper than that. Like, that's we the community paid for you to go to the University of Medina, that's all you came back with? Please, refund. Refund.
So it ain't like, like an in-depth class, like this is the Sunday,
not from what I've seen.
Like 5.
Or even the ones that are in-depth, brothers only. And then brothers showed up.
All right, good question.
The brothers who misinterpreted.
So, what kind of community you come from? Salafi, default Salafi, Sunni, what?
I believe they identify as Sunnis.
You follow Madhabs?
Well, that's a good. You know what's crazy? Even though I grew up Muslim, I was never taught about the Madhab thing.
You understand it?
I understand it. I'm literally just learning about it. Because people are like, I follow this method. And I was like, what does that even mean?
Oh.
Like, what method? What?
You landed in the right spot with us deviants with the teacher.
Yeah, because he studied the Maliki school. I studied the Hanafi.
Hanafi? Okay. So, like, only now am I really just learning about method. So, I never even think to ask people what method you follow. Because even if you tell me, I'm not going to know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, what they'll teach you, like, the people that's proponents to it, they'll make you think that there's some kind of sect.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, it's an interpretation.
Yeah, so
it's interpretation based on the code. Like, you can't find an answer. You will go to the Quran first, then the Hadith, then you will go to what the Sahaba said about it, and then you will go to consensus, like the people at
the general consensus.
Yeah,
like that.
I explain to you like this. Like this is how I told my man right here because he's new. So me and him had this conversation every day. So
because he just new here.
He's new with his barbershop.
Okay.
Right, but he's Muslim. He came home from jail, Muslim.
Okay.
But same thing. I find this is why we do this because a lot of times we meet people and their understanding of Islam be from all over the place. Right. Imagine you were in jail. I'm sure you watch jail movies and stuff. Right. Let's say you're in prison, so you know how they have like a law library.
Yeah.
Right. So your prisoner can go to the law library and you can study everything and then go represent yourself in court if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? Would you advise anyone to do that?
No.
Why not?
Because even with everything that you studied, I'm just afraid it might not be enough.
It might not be enough because we all know when you go to court, it's all about relationships. It's not just what you study.
Right.
So if that lawyer has a relationship with the judge, they play golf together, some favors might get made for each other, right?
Mm-hmm. Which is how we do it with hadith too. Like he was this to the Prophet.
Exactly. So all those hadith are in context. The same thing with the Madhabs. So everything in Islam is protected and preserved in our tradition by Isnad.
Let me tell you this. I've been meaning to make a video about it for the longest. Because the strict Salafi community is the way that they are, so many things are misinterpreted.
Yeah.
And what I try to explain to people is that number one, the people when the Quran came, of course, it came in the language to the people that it came to. However, it was in more of a classical form, and Arabs have always been known for their poetry. So it's only right that when Allah said the Quran, He would sit it in a poetic form. So much so that they say Allah made it easy to remember, and when you really recite it, it sounds like a poem. Especially when you hear like certain qadis recite it and the way they recite it sounds like a poem. If you know anything about poetry, there's metaphors, there's similes, there's paradoxes, there's things like that. And even to the way the hadith is quoted, the Prophet ﷺ would speak in a lot of metaphors. So he might say this, but it doesn't mean that literally. So when people take Quranic ayats and they're like, this is this, like on Haji's page with this nasty nigga that tried to convince me, or try to convince all of us rather, that there's no such thing as rape in a Muslim marriage. That a man can go into his wife whenever he feels like it. He brought a ayat that says, your wives are tithe for you, like a land that can be cultivated, are tithe for you, so go into them how you like. And he brought that and took that literally. The ayat is in relation to a man came and asked the prophet if he could do a certain sexual position, and this is what he said: go into them how you like.
Yeah, that's
so when you take
it out of context.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you take it out of context, there are so many dangerous things that can come about from that. And even more than that, from when, of course, non-Muslims don't know no better. New Muslims don't know no better.
Yeah.
So they think, I'm taking this from a Muslim who, he's quoting me hadith and he's taking it out of context.
Exactly. So then that's my point. That's the point I was getting to. Right. So imagine you're the prisoner in prison.
Right.
You're going to the law library. The law library, that's the Quran, that's the Hadith, that's every book in Islam, right? You're reading it, but you've never been taught properly by someone qualified who understands how to apply it.
Right.
Because they understand the context. You don't. So if they didn't sit you down and teach you, here's when you apply this, here's when you apply that, here's when you don't use this.
Right.
Now you're going up in court trying to represent yourself. And the lawyer, the prosecutor, the judge, all these niggas are laughing at you because you don't know what the hell you're doing.
Right.
And that's that same guy that's coming to you telling you, yo man, this is what this hadith mean, and you can't do this. You didn't ever get taught properly. Right. So what our sheikh would say, he said how we explained Islam, right? He said, if you have a light, you have a light switch, right? If you turn the light switch on, if you don't have a wire in between, the light ain't gonna come on. You be flicking that thing all day. He said that's Islam. So the Prophet Islam was here. Here's your light switch. If you don't have the Islam between you and the Prophet Islam, that light ain't gonna come on for you. So that's why it's important to have that method. Because here's what happens: if you don't learn from someone who learned from someone who learned from someone who learned from the Prophet Islam, how would you understand how it worked?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how the tradition of our religion was preserved.
Yeah.
The same thing with the Quran. Remember, the Prophet says, he didn't write any of this stuff down. It's all recitation. And there's 10 different styles of recitation for the Quran.
Yeah.
And that's how our deen is preserved. The people wrote it down and make it easier for us. They ain't have books.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The harakas, the vowels, they didn't have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, order that.
And then what those vowels can do, like if you place Dhamma instead of a Kesra, can completely change the meaning of the word.
That's the problem with the person that's translated, that he's not well equipped with Arabic enough. Because sometimes things are verbs, and they misinterpret what it's being said. So you have to be a master of the language to tell you exactly what it means.
Right. But I think
that's a famous hadith you ever hear when they say, wherever you see the non-Muslims, kill them. Yeah. That hadith, if you read Arabic, it's reciprocated, meaning like if they attack you, then you attack. It don't mean just outwardly, preemptively attack people.
And even a part of going into understanding Islam is you have to have a certain level of intellect. You have to have a certain level, like you have to actually be an intelligent person. And I always tell people at the basis of Islam, there's nothing that Allah sent forth, whether through prophet, through messenger, through text, that is oppressive, that is abusive. So when I see you interpreting things and you cross that line, you're already outside the fold of it. Because this is not ever Islam's intention. And at the core of it, as Muslims, we don't do things for no reason. Everything has a purpose. And any purpose that we try to do is for the good. Even if you have to take somebody's life, it had to have been for a good reason. So if I see that you're interpreting things to fit your own agenda, then I have to question them. Which is why I have such a problem with the Salafi community, because they interpret things and they try to regurgitate it to you, and it's that's useless.
There's no good.
Such as you have to wear all black. What use? Intellect, what use is that?
No, but that comes from Saudi culture and Wahhabi culture. But some of them don't know about it because they take their information from
Which is another thing, which is why I'm in so much support of homegrown Islamic scholarship.
We have plenty.
Yes, we have plenty, but we're still calling overseas to ask, if you have to, how you make a Muslim.
Yeah, you don't have to do that.
Right, exactly. And I'm more so with it for Black people because there are certain things that need to be interpreted for our times.
For our times.
Such as the whole...
Negro fit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The ruling regarding you have to call your husband and ask his permission before you leave the house. Mm-hmm. That can fly overseas. Why? Because the niggas don't have nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine if your wife called you every time she had to leave the house? Man. You'd be like, yo, call my number again? It's over. We're getting a divorce.
Yeah, you're going to be nagging, man.
Exactly. Which is why certain things have to be interpreted for our times. And they'll take it and be like, oh, Islam doesn't need to be reformed. It's not reformation, it's understanding.
Yeah, it's understanding.
It's understanding and application for our times.
Yeah, the deen is still applicable, but it's you need African American scholars and imams who are qualified though. That's the thing. Right. The thing is we do have them. Right. It's just everybody calls them deviants. You see what I'm saying? So if you end up on that Salafi list, the do not take from list, and you're part of that community, and I'll
be on the list like, ooh, he must be good.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. But what I remember one day there was a sister in here, a young sister. She had took a shahada. This is Ramadan that year, so let's say that was July. She had just took her shahada in January. She was in here telling us what masjid she can't go to, who she don't take. It's not cold. Why would you say that? She got mad at me. I said, no. If they're telling you how to dress, how to talk, who to talk to, who not to talk to, that's a fucking code. That's the reality.
That's a code.
Yeah, so, to me, I think, everybody, you should have a method. Have a method, have a teacher.
I think,
pick the Maliki method. It's the method.
You know why I said Maliki? Because the majority of the African and African Americans are Maliki.
No, but the reason why Maliki method is really prevalent in Africa.
That's why.
Like for a long time, not in my specific community, but in the Salafi community that we went to for a couple of years, they trashed Sufis. Mm-hmm. Trash Sufis.
We wouldn't have any of the deen if it wasn't for Sufis.
Yeah. When I tell you Sufis are on it, and it's a thing, of course, everybody has their faults, whatever. It's a thing of what I've seen from the Sufi community is Islam in action. Yeah. Whereas other communities is like surface level.
Most people
just practical.
Exactly.
What people with the Salafi community or the people that trash Sufis, who they call Sufis aren't really Sufis.
Right.
A Sufi ain't gonna call himself a Sufi.
Right.
So someone who's a wali of Allah, they not going around, I'm connected to Allah. We practice the Tasawwuf. You know what I mean? And we're trying to figure, it's the same thing. What they call it? They call it Isaying, we call it Tasawwuf. It's getting closer to Allah. It's a science in the
It would be Tazkiyah. Instead of saying Tasawwuf, you say Tazkiyah.
But
it's working on the heart.
It's the actual science in Islam. So when we were taught Islam, we were taught in branches. First branch, Aqidah, what's permissible and impermissible to believe about Allah. Second branch is fiqh. So how to actually perform Islam. The third science, Tasawwuf. So now you know belief and you know how to do these things. Now how do I perfect my heart to get closer to Allah? Right. That's the hardest one.
Purification.
You know what I mean? Purification, because you actually need somebody to walk you through it. What I keep recommending for people is it doesn't take the place of Tasawwuf, but people need therapy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just regular therapy, even if it's just talking to somebody regularly. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have a sheikh or someone who's going to actually take you and walk you and help fix your character and guide you, you need someone to get your problems over on. But people have so many traumatic experiences from childhood, from prison, from violence. It's so many things that people don't talk about, and nobody in the community addresses those things. Maybe they don't
so much so to the point where I feel like a lot of people don't know the importance of being close to Allah, which I feel like as a Muslim is the objective.
Yeah, it is.
It's the objective. With closeness to Allah, I don't care what you say, there's certain things you're not going to do, there's a certain person you're not going to be with being close to Allah. But with people who have, dark past or traumatic things, whether subconsciously or consciously, don't believe that they deserve that closeness to Allah.
Yeah.
Which again, the Sufi community put me onto.
That's a whole
and another thing they put me onto is Afkar. like dhikr. Like they put me onto that heavy, which is exactly. Which is something that, unfortunately, our communities aren't really talking about. Because, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, we gotta do this, we gotta do
practical.
that. And then we get behind closed doors. Y'all niggas not even like that.
It's just practical. It's just
right, you in that shit, you got your pants cut, I made salad, I memorized this, I memorized that. Then you go home and beat your wife. Even with social interaction between men and women, it's not that deep.
It's not.
It's not that deep.
It's not, but I mean...
Because again, this surface level Islam, these are the same niggas who be like, oh no, brothers and sisters, I have to be separate, we have to have a curtain, da 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 da. But then, I see you at the chicken shack and you straight out trying to give me the business.
Yeah, and to me, it's just instance. I don't go to those things anymore. Not because I don't need them. It's just, I'm not going if I know my intention isn't really to benefit from it.
Right.
So now if I'm really feeling like, I really need to hear this lecture, I'm going. Sometimes I just want to go to socialize. Sometimes I just want to play the food. I might just show up when they serving the food. And I go dap everybody up and we talk and we catch up. And I might pull the shake to the side later and me and him talk. Might get a couple things out of him there. But I don't got time to sit there for 8 hours and act like I'm pious. It's a waste of time.
Right.
This is a total waste of time. Now, but other people, so I don't knock it. But everybody, you go through your stages in Islam. Like, so when I first took Shahada, like I was really not even, I had no intention of being a good Muslim when I became a Muslim at all. I just thought, this is what I'm going to identify my new religion as. Then you start learning, and then I'm like, I got to feel accountable. I got to actually get on this. And then I went way too hard. You know what I mean? You go so hard. Where you just like
extreme.
Right.
And I never thought it was extreme, but it was just like I was really, really hard, not on other people, but on myself. Then after a while, I was like, now you gotta slow down a little bit. Not because I want to go do wrong stuff, but just do things that I can actually bear. You know what I mean? Because I felt at one time, I had so much at car that I had to do, like, I would be bugging if I didn't get to it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And Islam was never designed to
be
keep
hard.
you in captivity.
Which
is why I'm always say I'm cautious of people. I'm cautious of taking Islam from people who lack discipline. Because when you meet, and it is common amongst niggas, because they have to keep themselves within this prison cell, essentially, of their mind. They have to say that all of this is haram. They have to say that none of this is allowed. Because if they allow themselves to venture out ever so slightly, they go too far. And they haven't quite found the middle ground yet. The middle ground to be able to say, if I'm going to sin, I'm going to sin. But I'm not going to go all the way over here.
Yeah, I ain't going over there.
Yeah. And I always say, or actually my auntie taught me, the things that we're not supposed to do, first of all, haram versus halal. If you want to try and compile everything that's haram, you can get like a book. Not even a big book. If you want to put everything that's halal, it's volumes upon volumes. And the things that we're not allowed to do is like at a playground, it's the fence around the playground. The fence around the playground. Everything within the playground, the jungle gym, the swings, everything you're allowed to do. Just these things were only put here so we know not to go outside of these borders. But can you imagine being a child going to the playground and you just standing around the fence? Like you just walking around the whole fence? That's boring. That's captivity.
Yeah, it's so much. It's way more things that you can do versus the around.
Yeah, man. They some of that stuff be over exaggerated.
Yeah, it really is.
And fiqh that has a category. It's known as mubah, neutral, because it's nothing explicitly saying it's halal, nor is there anything explicitly saying it's haram.
Yeah.
So they categorize it as mubah. You get it? Give you an example, cultural thing like Thanksgiving. They would put that in the category of mubah because it has no religious connotation.
Y'all be going to Thanksgiving?
I definitely would.
I'll be in there.
Yeah, because it's nothing.
I will go to a Christmas party.
I go to Christmas party.
You go to a Christmas party? No, last year they almost had me.
Oh,
last year I was dressed, so I was like...
No, now mind you, I'm not buying gifts. I'm not getting dressed. Right? Here's the thing. One of my teachers told us, he said, listen, we can celebrate Christmas, have a molid. Have a molid for Easter. You got a molid?
You talking about for Easter?
For
Jesus Christ?
Yeah. You ever did molid?
For Easter.
Do they do molid in your community or no?
She don't know what a molid is.
No? I know what molid is.
They don't do that?
No.
Why not?
Because it's a bid'ah.
It's bid'ah, right? Is it a reprehensible bid'ah?
question. We just never talked about it.
I know. Most
I honestly just found out about Maulid.
Maulid is the bomb.
They got, alright.
It's the bomb. Total bomb.
With Bid'ah, they got in the same categories. You got some that's part of Bid'ah, means obligatory Bid'ah. Because, alright, say like the nucleus, the dots on the Arabic, that wasn't there. That's a Bid'ah. That is a necessary Bid'ah for the convenience of the Ummah.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You get it? Because, so you can't play with...
questioning me like, you sure?
Because you can't, people will be like, you either gotta be like, everything is Bid'ah, or everything is. You get it? Because the person would be like, no, that's Bid'ah. And so you be like, well, what about this? And like, no, that's allowed. You like, no, that's a Bid'ah.
Yeah. Right.
So is it allowed?
That's where Mola comes in. And some people don't do it. Now, the scholar, like for instance, Imam Malik, he didn't recommend it, but his reason wasn't because it was a bad thing. He said, I fear people will show off when they go to it. So to prevent showing off, don't same thing with group dhikr. But doesn't mean there's no benefit. See, what people do, they try to get you. The way they practice Islam will totally disconnect you from the Rasul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because they think and truly feel and then try to express rather, that there's only one truth.
It is.
There's only one truth. And I was like, can you imagine if there was only one way to be a Muslim? Mm-hmm. Many of us wouldn't be. Exactly. Even I said something as simple as, imagine if there was only one way to pray. People with no legs, how would they pray? People with no eyes, how would they pray? People with no arms, how would they pray?
Exactly. So, but here's my thing. Here's the thing with Maulid, right? With that say, yo, y'all celebrate the Prophet's birthday. No, we don't.
No.
We celebrate his life, his birth. So how you determine if something's haram, right? Or whether this particular thing is haram, do you do haram things while doing it?
Yeah.
Right.
So if you go to this gathering and there's a bunch of mixing of men and women, it's haram. If there's gossiping, it's haram. If there's backbiting, it's haram. If you're drinking liquor, it's haram. But if you're going and look, we're reciting Quran, you're doing dhikr, you're remembering Rasulullah, you're reading the Sirah, who's going to tell you those things are haram?
How do y'all feel about birthdays?
I don't care. Honestly, here's the thing. The Prophet celebrated his birthday. He said, I fasted on Mondays.
Because that's the day I was born.
That's the day he was born. So you can't, it's what you do on your birthday.
The person would disagree and say that, well,
it's not necessarily celebrating, he acknowledged it.
What's the difference? What's the celebration?
They would say for you to be in the safe zone just fast as he did. Don't.
Okay, well,
but it goes back to what you said about long as there's nothing haram involved.
All right, this is always my response to that, right? You like birthday cake?
Yeah.
You like regular cake? You see what I'm saying? What's the difference? It's like, oh, we can't have birthday cake.
Well, there'll always be the argument. The Salaf didn't do it. The Salaf didn't iron their clothes.
Wait, hold on. You don't work at a job?
Yeah.
When they give you that Christmas bonus, do you take it? You got
I got a gift, everything, Secret Santa.
No. Do you take it? Yeah. Of course you take it, right? Exactly. So you're like, man, I don't celebrate that drink. But you're like, all right, give me that.
Exactly.
$500. You're like, bro, man, you say you don't celebrate Christmas. Give me that $500.
Exactly. So that, to me, that's the. Well, not even to me. That's the rule. Like I'm not like if it includes haram activity, I'm not going out to the club for my birthday. I'm not going to hit the bar. I'm not doing it. But somebody want to give me some gifts. I don't see a problem with giving gifts to you.
I would say, what's the difference between? Because somebody was like,
so what's the issue with Christmas then?
No, if your belief,
right.
If you believe that Isa is Allah, that's haram. That's kufr. What I'm saying is,
I get my Christmas gifts.
Yeah,
Mama call me every year.
Yeah,
now I don't pick it up on Christmas. I'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, even me now, I don't go buy my kids Christmas gifts. I don't have Christmas tree. I don't do none of that. But I'm not. Well, if my family has Christmas dinner, and I have a lot of families not, because I'm the only, me and my children, the only Muslims in my family. I'm going to eat Christmas dinner with my family.
I go too.
I'm going to see my mom. I'm going to see my grandmother. I'm going to chop it up with my cousins. That's what they're doing. how else will they ever be invited to Islam if I disassociate with them?
Right.
That's like saying you shouldn't go to Christmas sales at the mall.
Exactly.
Oh man,
you shouldn't do anything.
Give me a nice coat every year.
Every year.
The Halloween.
I didn't grow up Muslim. You feel me? So like,
I didn't grow up Muslim either.
It never was a conversation about Isa at all in the households I ever lived. It never was. It was more of a family gathering, and we give to each other to show our appreciation to each other. It was never about like, oh, he wrote
Easter, I don't do nothing. I'm not doing that on Easter.
I don't.
But I don't buy that BS about emulating. I'm not emulating anybody. Mother's Day comes. I love my mother. I'm going to acknowledge my mother on Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give her a gift and give her a karma till I love her. Like, what?
Yeah, you
celebrating
her one day out of the year. You can't do that.
So what? I do it every day. Or not
just
do it.
one
Like,
particular day, you just...
Listen, these people, they have you super, they're in your heart so hard.
Yeah, right? That's what I like about it.
And you think everything's around. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, this book, he's a teacher. I don't know, I don't know what his title is. But Mikhail Smith, he's from Texas, does a great presentation called Emotional Intelligence of the Prophet ﷺ. And he just finished his book. And I highly suggest it to everyone. Emotional Intelligence of the Prophet ﷺ.
Mikhail Smith. You like him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Because in that presentation, he shows you just how, and I especially think it's a good presentation for men. How beautiful his character was, but not only that, how, I will say how soft and delicate he was.
Yeah.
And especially you have to keep in again, the context. This was a time where they was harder than hard. Like, they burying their daughters alive. And doing anything and everything else. But it showed how he came with that softness.
Yeah, it's a lot of instances like that. Give you a good example where a lady came and she complained to the Prophet something that I'm not suitable with this man. And the Prophet said something established what we know as the khula. You know what I mean? Like, well, give him back this and then you can go. Now we don't do, you want to hold the woman down like she a hostage. Yeah, he did that. It's so many instances where the slave girl Nadirah, she became free. Her master freed her, and she was subjected to marry this guy because the slave only married a slave, right? So as soon as she got free, she wanted to divorce her husband, and the husband was chasing her all through Mecca, like take me back. And the Prophet said something, and they was watching this, and the Sahaba said, "Why don't you say something to Nadirah?" And the Prophet said something, "Oh Nadirah, why don't you take him back?" She said, "Are you commanding me to do this? Is this wahi from Allah? Or not?" And he said, "No, this is just me telling you the decision." She said, "Well, in that case, I don't want nothing to do with it." But he was real considerate. Yeah, and I'll be like, what is wrong with people?
What people, this is what I recommend, I think. Like, a lot of people ask you for Islamic advice. I'll be watching them. Right? But what you should do, right? When people, especially new shahadas or people they trying to learn, I always suggest steer them. When they ask for what books to read, steer them towards the Sirah. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah, because that's the best. Nobody
and
reads
all of
Sirah.
the other books that are allocated for Muslim women, garbage.
They all garbage.
Garbage.
Your hand through the door.
Garbage.
Yeah, you got some of these books that you're talking about you recommend? Yeah, you can bring them over here.
Yeah, I teach them.
Oh, you do?
But I gotta get out of here.
All right, bro. Nah, but I'm telling you, Sirah is the move. You can't really even understand the Quran if you don't know the Sirah.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like what I do, I read Sirah along with the Quran.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah, and then I reference it because I used to read Quran forever and be lost and confused.
Have you ever read The Walking Quran?
No, I never heard that.
By Dr. Bilal Ware?
No, I never
I think his name is.
I'm gonna check it out.
I know what you're
he studied in Senegal and other parts of West Africa.
My favorite Sirah book right now is that Revelation book.
Yeah, that's
Revelation.
You ever read that one?
I'm trying to work on Seal Nectar.
Seal Nectar, that's a classic.
Yeah. I never read it before.
Get Revelation. Revelation is the bomb, man.
Right.
Yeah, because it got like ayats and all that stuff is connected to the Quran, which is very.
Yo, you know what I learned? He knew this stuff because he's like uber smart, right? I'm not that smart, right? I used to read Sirah. I never knew the connections of everyone. They have actual illustrations in the book that show you how this person was cousins with this person. They show you the whole family tree of like everything. So when you're reading certain companions, and they like, now you can see when they had beef, how close they were and why they were beefing.
Right.
You know, and that's the stuff I never understood. I'm like, oh, then you see the ages of people. I never had memorized. Like, you just reading the names, you're like, okay, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so. But when you actually realize, oh, that joke was 15. You know what I mean?
We automatically assume that because they've had this level of humanity, must be an older brother.
Exactly, yeah. Nah, they were young, and some of them, I mean, the Prophet sound like, when you actually put it in context, right? He was born with people who actually trusted him with their belongings and stuff.
Yeah, man.
Which is crazy. Like, look, we want to kill you, but I still want you to hold on.
Yeah, they still trusting him.
Yeah, well, that's wild, crazy. But
that's
which is at the core of being a good Muslim. I always say is a good person.
Mm-hmm.
As a good person, you can't. I feel like there's no way you can separate the two.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are you really a good Muslim if you're not compelled to be a good person?
Yeah, and you see, like, one of my favorite narrations is by Hakam ibn Hizam, and Mu'adh ibn Jabal was a close companion of the Prophet, and he was sending him to Yemen to teach like new converts.
Yeah.
So he said to him, "Oh Mu'adh, perhaps this might be the last time that you see me," because he knew that he was going to be down there for a long time. And he said, "You're going to a people," he said, "and know that they are not going to be able to do everything you command.
Yeah.
But be good to them and try to bring them as close as you possible." Right. This is how hadith you probably never heard, because people don't like to say stuff like that. They just want to be like, this is haram, this is halal, do this, and a lot of people, they get this thing like Islam is just built on rules, and they're like, well, where's the mercy at? Inside of it, and you like, that's where the shit come in, like where he said, you're like, nah, man, the Prophet sallallahu meant like that, like he said that hadith, but like he said, he was saying it in this context,
right?
So you said it in the wrong context. Like, why did he say that, and what time and what place did he say that, and for what reason?
Right.
You just taking it and just applying it to everything. You're like, no, was he saying it to a particular person? Was he saying it in general? Was he just like an isolated situation, like a small group? So you like, you doing it wrong.
Or even with realizing how merciful the Prophet ﷺ was, is that's not even a portion of Allah's mercy. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that we forget. We're like, Allah's going to punish you. He's going to do this.
Yeah.
Allah said, if your sins were to reach the sky, you ask me for forgiveness, I will forgive you.
Mm-hmm. Man,
and that's another part of, like you said, you had a time period where you were very hard on yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't like to use that. For me personally, I don't like to take that in too much to make me become lax. But it makes me kind of ease up on myself. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite hadiths that, I always remind myself of is Allah says if you walk to me, I'll go to you at speed. Mm-hmm. If you walk to me, I will run to you. Mm-hmm. And this is the Lord of everything, who could have never created, who could end you at a second, who's literally telling you, if you just try, I'm going to meet you more than halfway. Not even halfway, I'm going to meet you more than halfway. Mm-hmm. I'm going to come and meet you at a distance where you could never reach me. Mm-hmm. Which, again, nobody wants to talk about. Mm-hmm. Because they want to envision Allah as this this tyrant. Exactly. First of all, they make the mistake of envisioning him as a man.
Oh, God.
As some sort of man.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you cannot encompass Allah into your idea of him. Allah is bigger than you. Or bigger than your idea of him.
Allah is a creator. Everything other than Allah is a creation of Allah.
Right.
There's nothing like him.
There's nothing that you have thought of that Allah did.
Nothing in comparison.
Nothing that you have thought of that Allah didn't create.